Hello, what is up guys? Evil Duos Arm here today, back with another Black Desert video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at something that will definitely help you if you're still working on your season character like a lot of people are, and that is going to be the locations where you need to go in order to farm the various upgrade materials that you need for your season gear, the Tuvala gear. So real quick before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, new to Black Desert, or enjoy the content on the channel, please consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me and would help to grow the channel. Without further ado, let's get into it and let's take a look at the main content here. And that's this table that was buried in the patch notes of the actual season server update. So basically this table tells you the best locations to farm the various different upgrade materials you need. So the time-filled blackstones, refined magical blackstones, and Tuvala ore. I'm literally just going to leave this up and talk for a few seconds. If you want to pause the video or just go to the link in the description and read this yourself, feel free to do that because that's basically it. All I'm going to do now is show you the different locations on the map so you know where to go if you are confused at any of these different locations. I'll also provide a little bit of anecdotal information about them because I have grinded at just about all of these different locations, so I can tell you what I think of them. But anyway, starting with the time-filled blackstone locations, these locations supposedly have better chances at getting time-filled blackstones. I do want to point out that every single spot gives a ton of time-filled blackstones, so if you're looking for time-filled blackstones plus something else, you'd be better off farming at the plus something else location, just because you're going to get a crap load of these wherever you go. Same goes for these other materials though, you're going to get some of these wherever you farm in the time-filled blackstone tab, so it's not like you need to go to these places exclusively, they just supposedly have better rates at getting the different materials listed there. First location on that list is the Bansham Base. The Bansham Base is also the Bansham's location, which is down here, Bansham Base, also known as Bansham's. So relative to Altanova, it is right here to here, pretty close to the actual city, so after you've farmed up your trash loot, you can go and sell it on the market. Not a bad location. Mobs there are 100 AP, super easy to kill, usually uncontested except by people doing the story, so if you're looking for a place that you can farm pretty easily, that is a nice location, one of the easiest places to farm. Next up is the Desert Naga Temple, which is above the Sandgrain Bazaar, so also relatively close to a city. This is in the desert, so you're going to want to pick up an Oasis Vendor compass that you can get. That way you can just see yourself on the map, make your life a little bit easier. But anyway, Desert Naga Temple, also a pretty easy place to farm, only need 100 AP to do it. Also shouldn't be very contested at this time in the game. Next location is Titium Valley, which is way down here in the desert. I don't even want to recommend going to this place. It's so far away from anything in the game. You gotta go through the desert. Not the best place to go, but I guarantee you it's uncontested. I haven't even bothered to go over here. This place sucks. Next on the list is our first location bumping up above 100 AP recommended. It is the Crescent Shrine. Crescent Shrine isn't too bad of a walk from the Sandgrain Bazaar. It is a bit of a ways though, so you do have to go through the desert. You are in the desert, so you're going to want to have a compass for out here as well to help you find your way back after you're done. Once again, the Oasis vendor located to the Stable Keeper in most of the major cities has compasses available for 1 silver. But this place isn't too bad. I actually grinded here during the season server because I was doing some of the quests in this area for the desert quest and actually stopped here. It's not too bad. It was completely dead. The mobs there aren't too hard to kill. They're decently packed together, so it's an okay location to farm if you really want to. The final location in the Valencia area that gives time-filled blackstones is going to be Gahaz Bandits. Even though this is an amazing place to farm, super easy to farm, like anybody can do it, great mob density, it is always packed, so I would recommend staying away from this spot. Personally, I would, just because of how many people are going to be there. It's just slammed all of the time. But if you want the great mob density, probably one of the best grinding spots in the entirety of Valencia, and you're on at like 4 a.m., then yeah, go for it. It's going to be a great spot to go for. Then, leaving the Valencia region and heading over to the Camisylvia region, down in the bottom left corner of your map, you have 2 locations. You have Polly's Forest and Fatta's Habitat. Polly's Forest is usually the preferred one. Insane mob density. You're going to get a crap load of everything farming in this spot. But once again, like Gahaz, it's one of the best places to farm, so you're going to have a lot of people fighting over the mobs there. It actually isn't too bad at off hours, so if you are looking for a place to go, this might be a good one. The other location is Fatta's Habitat. Similar to Polly's Forest, there's a lot of mobs, not as many as in Polly's Forest, but the location and the loot that drops from this, aside from the time-filled blackstones, is going to be utterly abysmal. There's nothing worth a lot of money that farms or drops from these different mobs. But great mob density and another location to go ahead and farm if you're looking for these upgrade materials still. Next up are the refined magical blackstones. So the refined magical blackstones are the ones that you use for the guaranteed upgrades from pry to try. They're also useful when you're going to tet your weapon because you can just keep trying and then use the stones to immediately go back up on another character. So if you try to tet, it fails and drops to duo, you can just drop the stones, take it back up to try, and then try again until you ultimately get tat on your weapon. So it's actually really, really useful for these to get you basically a free tat. So anyway, there are 3 locations that say they have better drop rates for these, and I have done 2 of them personally, and I must tell you that one of them is absolute garbage. So the one that is absolute garbage is this Worgon Nest. I was here for 42 minutes. I got 2 time-filled Blackstones and nothing else. Not going to recommend this unless I really, really suck or really, really unlucky. This was not a good place at all. Also, the mobs are like tanks, hard to kill, not great density. Would recommend staying away from this location if your intention is to farm for the refined magical Blackstones. So this location was west of Altanova. Next location is Kadri Ruins, which is a little bit to the north of Altanova, right here. Supposedly this is a really solid place to farm. It's only 140 AP recommended, although you might want a little bit more for this area. There's a couple of elite mobs here that'll mess your day up, so you're going to want some decent DP as well. But anyway, this is actually a pretty decent location from what I've heard. I've just never actually farmed here before, so if you are looking for refined magical Blackstones, might be a place to check out. The other location that I farmed, and I actually farmed it during the season server, is going to be Pradi's Cave, which is out here in the water. I'm basically looking for areas where I don't think there's going to be anyone farming to try and do myself. So this location was not bad at all. I was actually really surprised. Decent mob density. It's not amazing. You're not going to make a killing here. I didn't make very much money on other trash loot, but there wasn't a single soul, mainly because you need a boat to get out here. You can't swim out there. I mean, I guess you could swim. It might take you a while, but if you got a boat, it's a lot faster. So there's actually a cave that you can enter down here. Head on in and grind this area. So it did definitely give a lot more refined magical Blackstones than I was expecting to get. I think I got like 7 of them in the hour that I was there. But also I got like 80-something time-filled Blackstones and a couple Tuvala ore. So it's really not a bad place for the other stuff as well. Anyway, those are the locations for refined magical Blackstones. The final ones are for Tuvala ore. So Tuvala ore is available at 4 different spots. So the first location is the Basilisk's Den. That is directly north of Altanova, Basilisk's Den. Basilisk's Den is not bad. There is never a soul here because the mobs are hard to kill. There's decent density, but they're just like farly spread apart, so you gotta travel a good distance between each group. Not one of the best locations to farm, but it definitely does have an increased drop rate of Tuvala ore because I have farmed here during the season server as well. Just super slow grinding. So you don't really get as many Tuvala ore as if you were to do like Bansham's base like 2 feet below for way easier grind, just because you kill so many more mobs here than you will up in the Basilisk's Den. Next location is the Taftar Plain, which is actually the Centaur's Head location. So it's this whole region over here. There's a bunch of centaurs that spawn all throughout here. So also another place where the mobs are hard to kill, and you'd probably be better off just doing an easier to grind place because of the difficulty here and the how far spread apart they are. Next is the Pilakul Jail, and I have never actually been to this location because it's way out in the middle of the desert, far away from anything, and just doesn't make sense to me as a place to grind. But hey, if you are looking for Tuvala ore and want to grind somewhere else with some better drops, that is a place to go. And the final location on the list is the Rhodes Sulfur Mine, which is to the north of Valencia, another location that's way out in the middle of nowhere. There are a ton of mobs, great mob density in this area, but it's not a place that I would recommend either, just because of how far away from anything else it is. Plus, the recommended AP for these last 2 locations is 210 AP, so you really need to be pushing towards the end of your season character progression if you want to be picking up these areas as far as grind locations. So I'd recommend just grinding a lot easier place, killing a lot more mobs, and making up the Tuvala ore that way, especially for someone just starting to progress. But if you're pushing towards the end of your AP and looking for something a bit more challenging to grind, those are 2 locations that could work for you. Now, those were only Valencia and Camisylvia regions that were listed on that list. They do drop from just about any location in the game with varying amounts of success. So if you're trying to grind grass beetles in Ovia, I wouldn't expect to find too many. But even playing through the story on my character, I ended up picking up like 4 of them just from mobs dropping them throughout the world. So they do drop from other places. These are just the recommended locations for higher drop rates. But anyway, this is the list of the different regions, what they drop, and how to progress your season character a little bit better. If this video is going to help you to farm your season character, get its gear up a little bit, let me know in the comment section below. Would love to hear it. If you have ideas for other videos, also let me know. I would love to show you how to do different things. And anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you at the next stream, video, or wherever I happen to see you. Peace.